What's up, you guys? It's Greg. So today I'm going to be taking you through how to find good deals in real estate. So I'm going to break the video down like this. So first, we're going to start with the website that you can be using to find these deals. Second, I'm going to show you an example of a deal that you're probably not going to want to get unless you're a professional flipper or have a team working for you. Third, I'm going to show you a deal that you probably are going to want to get to where you can build in some good value, but it's not necessarily going to apply to a typical home buyer just because of kind of what needs to be done to it. And then four, I'm actually going to go ahead and jump over to Zillow and then show you my criteria that I use when trying to find comps. So hopefully at the end of this video, you should be able to go through and feel confident that you can, have a good idea of what an after repair value of a property is going to be. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and say my number one site is Zillow. This is because I just feel like it has the best features, it's the most user friendly. I know a lot of people use Redfin or Realtor.com or things like that, but for me, my main just typical home buyer site, I would say, is Zillow. And then after that, some good resources for finding foreclosures or things like that, which would be HUD.gov. So you actually just type in HUD homes in Google, and then just click this top link right here, which is HUD.gov. And then you get to the actual page where the homes are. It's just by scrolling down and going from HUD. Then you have to click OK because you're going to a different page. So this is going to be homes that are foreclosed on by the government, typically people that have FHA loans. I like this a lot because you usually can get loans with the property. These next two sites I'm going to show you typically sight unseen or cash only or as is and things like that. But HUD is not necessarily that case, and also the homes that are on the HUD website also show up on Zillow, which is nice. The next one would be auction.com, which again, like I said, it's typically a cash only. Usually they're occupied, sight unseen, kind of things like that, especially with the pandemic going on. They're usually occupied. And then same with Hubzu. It's very similar to auction.com, cash and things like that. So I would say mainly just Zillow is trying to find deals, but keep in mind, deals, they don't last very long. So you need to make sure to have all your ducks in a row. You only have a couple of days, if that, to go ahead and buy a deal before it gets taken off the market, because there's people looking, there's investors, there's people like you and me that aren't professional investors that just want to get a good deal and want to build their net worth and things like that. So you need to make sure to have everything in order before you really are ready to start looking for deals. Like, if you go ahead and check out my video, 6 steps to buy a house, it'll help you prepare for that. So next we have an example of how I find comps just super quick. So let's just say you look at a house and then you're just going to look really quick to see if it's going to be worth more investigating, to see if that's something you're going to be interested in looking into. So here we have, we're on Zillow and we just clicked lot lines. I'm actually going to show you this. This is not currently on the market. This was our first house that we ended up selling. I'm just taking you through how I ran through the comps originally. So here's the actual house. So as you can see here, this is a plot of land that sold for $25. Here, this is under contract for $189. This is also under contract for $182. But then you see you have houses here. This one actually sold right after we purchased the house for $122. It says 2 units because it was the same owner and they were just selling. That's why it looks like that. But here you have, 162. So just looking at this house being at 165, because this is what we sold for. But imagine this right here saying 75. You're going to be like, wow, that's a pretty good deal. That's something I'm going to look more into. Then you're going to dive into the pictures and what's wrong with it and things like that. But just at a quick glance, you're like, oh, if I see this at 75 with all these around here, it's looking pretty good. 155, 165, 164. That looks good. So here we're going to jump over to an example of a house you're probably not going to want to get. Now this one is not one that I ended up purchasing. It's one I looked at. Not in person. I looked at it on here and decided that it was going to be just too much. So here's listed at 94.5. You see that it is contingent. To go to the lot line just to check real quick and see if it's even worth considering. So this is listed for 94.5 and it's in a $120,000 neighborhood. It's not going to be worth it. So I'm just going to pop over to here on Zillow and then click lot lines. Then you're like, oh, wow, that looks pretty good. 231, 250. These ones are on the market. I'm not sure if they're on the market or under contract. But 240, 290, 220, this is looking good. And you're like, oh, okay, I can consider that. But then, you and me as non-professional investors and have a lot of DIYers or, hiring out a couple of things, you're going to kind of look and see like, maybe this isn't a deal that I want. There's a lot, there's potentially $100,000, $120,000 spread there. But yeah, not something that I'm interested in. You know, because just from this first picture here of the inside that you can see, needs all new flooring. There's a lot of drywall work up top. You know, they're pulling, it looks like they pulled the baseboard off there, and I saw this later. How do I get out of here? There we go. You know, new flooring, you know, and it's just not normal things that you can just do. Like right here, they've got the actually drywall pulled up. So like the fact that they pulled up all the floors, is there water damage? Like, was the carpet just soaked? Like, what are they, you know, why is that all up? You know, houses don't just accidentally get this way. Someone came in, is either trying to renovate it or they're trying to fix it. So this is not like something for a hobby investor, someone that's just doing a first or second or third flip. Like, this is a lot of work, and this is going to take a lot of time. This is not something that you could like buy, move into, and fix while you're living there. There's probably a lot of other issues going on. So then I'm going to go ahead and jump into an example of a house that you probably are going to want to buy. So this one's actually in California, so you can just go ahead and ignore the price difference in the bed and bath and square footage. This is just an example of a house that you probably would want to buy. But I will go ahead and pull up the lot lines just so you can kind of see that, like, hey, this house is probably something worth looking into just based on the comps. Let me see if I can pull that up here. So this one's listed for 1.2. It's under contract at 1.2. We don't know exactly what it's under contract for, but it's listed at 1.2. So 1.7, 2.6, 1.3. I don't know what's going on with that one. 1.2 on the market for 1.6, 2.3, 2.6. So, you know, this is a house worth looking into. So we're just gonna flip through the pictures real quick. It looks okay from the outside. You know, maybe kind of outdated. I've never been to San Francisco. I don't really know what the market's like, but we're gonna look at the inside, and you can apply this example to wherever you are in your location. Obviously, the price point's gonna be substantially different. You know, just walking in, the red door's nice, and then you're like, you know, the carpet's outdated, this floor is kind of gross. But overall, first impressions, it looks like it's gonna be clean, which is good. So you're like, okay, yeah, carpet's still there, you know, light fixture. These floors are beautiful. It's clean. It's well kept. You know, these walls will look great with a nice gray paint. The fire pit's okay. Little outdated, but overall, it's okay. Still, floors are great. Windows look to be in good condition. Could use a new light fixture, but nobody's seeing this and be like, oh, this is so nice. It's so modern. I really have envisioned myself living there. This is like one of those deals that you and I are going to be looking for, to be like, most people probably aren't going to see this and really want this property. And when I get to the kitchen, you'll see why. Here's the kitchen. It's outdated. There's wallpaper, you know, it's got the white appliances, it's got the tile countertop, but overall, it's in okay condition. Like, you could move into this and still be okay. You know, you don't need the most modern of floors or cabinets or appliances, but as a homeowner, you could move in and build in the equity by just gutting the kitchen, putting in new cabinets, new countertop, a bigger sink, dishwasher, you know, things like that, taking out this funky bench, putting a better light fixture in, maybe not going with this fluorescent bulb light fixture, and just adding some value that way. Like, realistically, just the materials, this is probably like a $5,000 kitchen. You know, $5,500 if you just buy the material. You bought all new cabinets, countertop, things like that. You know, you built your own concrete countertops. But there's a lot of value to be added here, because overall the house is really nice. Like, you know, other than light fixtures and wallpaper, like, the floors are in great condition. Most likely, with how they're keeping the rest of the house and how it's clean, the water heater's probably fine, the HVAC system's probably fine. Like, overall, they're probably spending money on things that aren't necessarily increasing the value of the property, but provide you, and someone that's looking to get a good deal, a lot of value, because you can go in and just fix the cosmetics, and then boom, you're building in all that equity. You know, again, just another great room. Floors, amazing condition. I wish I had these floors in my own house. You know, just take down the wallpaper. You know, maybe just modernize it a little bit. You know, repaint the walls, paint the doors. You know, new light fixture. But like, overall, this is what you're looking for. Like, this bathroom, it's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's not trashed. It's, you know, it's functionally, it's fine. You can go in and change the wallpaper, not change the wall, remove the wallpaper, paint the walls. This tub probably works just fine. The shower's probably fine. You could reglaze the tile if you really wanted to. Put a different vanity in. These freestanding sinks are weird. It looks like a hospital. Put a new mirror in. It's like this weird tilty mirror. Put a new light fixture. And overall, it's fine. Like this toilet, to me, it looks all right. Look, it looks like a new toilet. Like I probably, if I was to move into this property and I was going to live in there, I probably wouldn't replace the toilet. Like, all right, it's probably fine. Obviously, I'm going to clean it. You know, you just kind of just change this section right here, and you're like, oh, okay, it's really not that bad. You know, carpet needs to be changed, but that's why this property is basically on sale, is because of these outdated fixtures that people don't really want. Like 90% of home buyers are going to want a house that's like totally move-in ready, that's like beautiful and picturesque. Ooh, paint this. It's not good. Paint this. I don't know what's with them with this freestanding sinks. You know, I can see here they're not really being enough room, but like, man, at least switch it for like a pedestal or something. Like I'm not a huge fan of pedestal sinks because there's no storage and you know, I don't know, but no, this needs to go. You know, mirror's fine. Maybe throw some baseboard trim around it, give it a little bit of spice to it. New light fixture. See, but again, this is the property that you're going to want to buy because you can move into this, and overall, it's okay. Like, let's say you buy it, and you know you have 2 months before you move in. Okay, so redo the kitchen before you move in, and then after you move in, you redo one bathroom, then redo the other bathroom, because you can tell these owners really cared about the property. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how to set up your own search in Zillow to figure out what the comps are for a specific property. So for this, we're already going to need a property to look at. So I went ahead and pulled one up. So as you can see here, we're going to look at this property. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, almost 1,200 square feet. So typically what I like to do is I like to grab the zip code here and then just copy and paste that into Zillow. You do kind of need to familiarize yourself with where the actual house is on the street. So I've actually pre-done this because it usually takes me a second, especially in areas I'm not familiar with. So the house is actually right here. So I went ahead and drew a circle around that. So the first step you're going to want to do is head over to the More category here and then scroll all the way down and click Reset Filters. This is more important if you're actually like you use Zillow on a regular basis, which is what I do. But if you know, this is kind of your first time using Zillow, then it's probably not necessary. So then what you do is you head over, we're just going to work from left to right. So you just grab the for sale and then go from for sale down to sold. Because it's important to look at sold comps as opposed to houses that are for sale, because you want to figure out what people are actually paying for the house as opposed to what the owners are just hoping to sell it for. Because even if it says it's under contract for a specific price, you don't actually know what the price is under contract for until the house is sold. So that's why you need to look at sold. And then next is the price range, which you typically just leave blank because you know you want to see all the comps for a house. The bed and bath, this is important. As you can see, we had it was a 3-bed, 1-bath house here. So we're going to go ahead and click 3-bed, 1-bath. You know, like let's say typically it's a 3 and 2, just an example. You know, you can go ahead and put in like a 2-bed, 2-bath or a 2-bed, 1.5-bath for your minimum search criteria for your comps. This is because, you know, if you're seeing houses like in the same area as you, they just have less beds or less baths, you can go ahead and just add a little bit in terms of value onto your house, the house that you're comping out, to compensate for the fact that it has, you know, more beds or more baths. But right now we're just going to stick with a 3 and 1. And then we're going to move on to home type. Typically I don't change this. You know, it's usually I just leave it how it is. And then this is important, is going to the square footage. So this house, as you can see, is almost 1,200 square feet. So I'm going to do it from 1,000 to 1,250 because the square feet's important, because typically I like to assume for every extra 100 square feet that a house has, I like to add about $10,000 onto the value, just because there has to be some type of dollar amount associated with the extra square footage. I think that that's usually a safe number, because you can look at a house that's, you know, 1,000 square feet versus the one that we're looking at 1,200 square feet. Well, obviously the one that's at 1,200 square feet would be valued significantly more. So I like to throw on an extra $20,000, and this kind of helps just keep numbers consistent. And then lot size, I typically don't worry about it. Depending on your location, you might need to worry about it. Like if you're in California, it's probably going to matter to you. But everywhere else, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal. Unless it's like acreage, then it is a big deal. But you know, if it's you know, a 10, 11,000 square foot lot, you know, like basically a half acre or less, it's probably not going to matter that much. And the near build, I don't actually change this criteria, but this does matter when you're comping out a house. You know the saying, like, they don't build them like they used to? Well, the inverse is true. They don't build them like they do right now. So you typically want to find houses that are similar age, but keep in mind, finding comps isn't exactly like an exact science, but typically if you're, you know, looking in a neighborhood, they're all going to be around the same area. The easiest way to comp out a house just by straight looking at it is look for houses that are built by the same developer all in, you know, in a couple of years, and it'll be really easy to comp out the houses because they're all, you know, the same floor plans, same square footage, same bed bath, you know, things like that. And then if you keep scrolling down, you know, you can search by these. I typically don't, like, not when you're looking for comps in the sold section. You know, if you're looking for sale ones, then these are definitely more relevant. And then a very important one is sold in the last, right down here at the bottom, right above reset all filters. You know, if you go to like sold in the last 36 months, that's really not an accurate representation of what the market actually is. And then same with, you know, 24 months, it's really not that accurate. 12 months is probably as far out as you're going to want to go. You know, with the pandemic, I would say within the last 6 months is probably the most relevant, just because prices are so inflated right now because of the decreased interest rates. But I'm going to go ahead and click 12 months just for the example. I think it's going to be the easiest for you to start out with. So these are going to be all the houses that have sold in the last 12 months within my criteria, 3 and 1. So I'm actually going to go and look for my house that I'm comping out, and the house is actually right here. Obviously you don't see it because it's still under contract, so it's technically for sale. So the house, as we can see again, was listed for 60. So now we're just looking for similar houses basically. Here's a 3 and 1 at 1,000 square feet. I will click on this one, 9,920. So this is probably a better comp. It's a 2-story. See, but this one's fully updated, and this is good. This is a really good comp for us because you can see. Let's see, when was the first house built? This will be the only one I go through. When was this house built? 1953. When was this one built? 34. So our house is 20 years newer. This is fully updated as opposed to ours that is not. I guess I didn't flip through the pictures, but here's the pictures. It's not in terrible condition. Probably one that you would want to consider looking at. So this one's good. It's updated. You know, they're both in neighborhoods. You know, something to consider is that this one's on a slightly more main road, the one that we're looking at currently, as well as there is some type of, this looks like a condo village right here, which potentially could decrease the value. I didn't personally drive by this, so I don't know how it's going to impact the value, but that's also something to consider. But hopefully this step-by-step tutorial was helpful. Hopefully it gave you the skills to be able to go and do this yourself and to look for comps and feel a little bit more confident when you're trying to figure out the value of a house that you're looking at. If you made it this far and you like the content, it'd be great if you'd hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also hit the little notification bell next to it. You'll be updated every time I post a video. That really means a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers and we're on our way there. But like always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next video.